Hello there, welcome back to Brilliant Minds. Today we're going to talk about a man who led one of the most daring and heroic adventures in history. His name was Ernest Shackleton, and he was a fearless explorer who refused to give up, even when everything seemed lost. Let's set sail into the icy world of Antarctica. A long time ago, before airplanes were common, and before people had smartphones in their pockets, there lived a man named Ernest Shackleton. Born in Ireland in 1874, Ernest had a curious heart and a brave spirit. He didn't dream of castles or treasure. He dreamed of snow, ice, and the unknown lands of the South Pole. From a young age, Ernest loved stories of adventure. He wanted to be part of something great, something wild. So he joined the Navy when he was just 16 years old. But the sea was only the beginning. Ernest's real dream was to explore Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. In 1914, he got his chance. He put together a brave team of men and planned a journey called the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition. Their goal? To cross Antarctica from one side to the other, something no one had ever done before. They set sail on a ship called the Endurance. It was strong, built to face the icy seas. But Antarctica is not a place that plays fair. As they traveled deeper into the frozen world, the sea turned into thick sheets of ice. One day, the ice closed in around the Endurance, trapping it like a toy in a frozen bathtub. No matter how hard they tried, the ship couldn't move. Days passed, then weeks, then months. The ice squeezed the ship tighter and tighter until, crack! The wooden boards began to split. The Endurance, was being crushed. Shackleton had a choice to make. He could panic, he could give up. But instead, he did what great leaders do. He stayed calm, gathered his men, and said something simple. We must get every man out alive. And that became his mission. The crew set up tents on the ice. They huddled together through freezing winds and snowstorms. Penguins waddled past. Sometimes they heard the howls of seals, or the thunder of cracking ice. They couldn't call for help. There were no phones, no radios that reached that far. The only way to survive was to keep moving and keep hoping. Shackleton and his men dragged lifeboats across the ice for weeks, hoping to reach open water. When they finally did, they climbed into the tiny boat and rowed across freezing seas. Waves as tall as houses crashed around them, but they didn't stop. Eventually, they reached a lonely island called Elephant Island. It was safe, but it wasn't home. Shackleton knew he had to go further, so he picked 5 men and set off in the smallest of boats. They traveled over 800 miles across deadly waters to a place called South Georgia, where they hoped to find help. The journey took 16 days. Their boat was small. The sea was wild. But Shackleton kept going. When they finally reached land, they still had to climb mountains and cross glaciers, without maps, food, or gear. But at last, Shackleton reached a whaling station, where he found help. He rushed back for his crew. And here's the most amazing part. Not a single man was lost. Every one of Shackleton's crew survived because of his bravery, his leadership, and his promise that they'd all make it home together. So, what can we learn from Ernest Shackleton? He didn't become famous because he reached the South Pole. He became a hero. Because when everything went wrong, when his ship sank, when they were stuck in the ice, when hope seemed gone, he never gave up. He looked after his team. He stayed strong. And he kept moving forward. No matter how tough things get, we can all be a little more like Shackleton, brave, determined, and caring for others. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's adventure. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, even in the coldest, hardest moments, there is always a way forward.